lovelies, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Lou and I'm recording my Mounjaro journey. This is the end of week 11. I am titrating up on my dose. I'm currently taking 3.75 milligrams on a split dose. I'm taking 2.5 milligrams on a Monday and 1.25 milligrams on a Thursday. I'm just doing this until my current pen runs out, and then I'll be titrating up to 5 milligrams. And I'm really hoping that once I do that, I start seeing better losses. In total, in 11 weeks, I've lost 11.6 pounds. So the weight is coming off, and it is coming off gradually, which ideally was what I was looking for. But like less than a pound a week is a little bit annoying, and last week it was a slight gain. So really, actually, my weigh-in at the moment is exactly the same as it was about 2 weeks ago, and that is a bit frustrating. I was having a look at my weight tracker, and what it shows, I mentioned this in a previous video, that the Monday weigh-ins seem to be the absolute worst day. When I have a look at what my weigh-ins are on a Wednesday or a Thursday, all you see week by week are losses, and it's always on a Monday that it's sort of a little bit of a gain, little bit of a loss, and that sort of thing. But overall consistency, I'm 11.6 pounds down, which I am happy about. And I think as well that it doesn't look like I've lost 11.6. It does look like I've lost a lot more. I have lost a lot of inches. I wait until the end of this month before I take my measurements again. But people will say, like, people will look at me and they'll say, how much have you lost? And when I'm like, oh, it's only this, it's only that, they're like, you can notice it. And actually, I was showing Billy one of my videos from the very beginning. I think it was the video where I opened my very first Mounjaro delivery. And even he looked at it and said, wow, you look really different from then. So I know so many people are like, it's just a number on a scale. I think for me, I have always put a lot of emphasis on this number. And like when it comes to medical things, doctors don't give a shit what you look like. They're only looking at your statistics. And every time they look at mine, they say that I'm very overweight. So it's just always been one of those dreams for me to have a nice small number on the scale. So I will always use that as a guide. But overall, I'm still very happy with how I'm coping with Mounjaro, especially since I've titrated up. So I think week 11 was the third week that I went from 2.5 milligrams up to 3.75, where I started taking the extra dose later in the week, because I believe it was 9 weeks that I was on 2.5. So it's been 3 weeks since I'm on the extra dose, and I definitely feel that I've coped a lot better with the side effects. There was quite a bit of queasiness in the first 2 weeks. I haven't had any queasiness in this last week. It did disrupt my sleep. So again, they're the two major, they're probably like the only side effects that I had from when I started Mounjaro, is that there was queasiness and it really impacted my sleep and I wasn't sleeping well at all. And I've noticed that this week that was happening, that I still wasn't sleeping very well. But I also have been prescribed a new medication by my doctor, which does make you quite drowsy in the evenings. It's not a sleeping tablet. It's a tablet that's to help me with my fibromyalgia and some gut problems that I have. But I take it in the evening and it definitely helps with a good night's sleep. So my sleep has improved with the aid of that. So I'm feeling really comfortable about moving up where I am now to the 5 milligram pen. And I imagine that for the first 2 weeks, I'll probably experience those same side effects again, but I'm not fazed by them now. And I'm not like trying to do everything I can to avoid them. It's just part and parcel of what will happen to me when I have more Mounjaro in my system. So exercise. So I did get back in with, no, let me think. I did start doing my workouts again, but I don't think I'm as consistent as I should be or as that I would like to be. But I'm happy to report that a full week didn't go by where I wasn't doing anything. And there was a lot of exercise on the Sunday, which I will get to later in the video. Unfortunately, this week, I don't think there's going to be an awful lot going on either, because my dad is here for a visit. My dad is here from Australia, so he's going to be here over the next week. And although in my mind, I always say, I'll just get up and work out before he gets up, it never happens. So I'm not going to kid myself. I would absolutely love it if that was the case, but I just don't think it's going to be realistic. I'm going to prefer to spend as much time with him as possible because I haven't seen him for a year. So although I talk to my dad all the time, we send each other voice notes nearly every day. I just want to be in his company as much as possible. That's the neighbour's cat going downstairs. It's just had a nap on my dad's bed. Food-wise, I've had a good week food-wise, so I've been trying my best to take photos or videos so that I can show you here what I'm eating. This week I had broccoli quiche with salad. I took a video of making up my morning breakfast yogurt bowl. So this has Greek yogurt. It's full fat, 10% Greek yogurt. I think each carton that I get, they say that a portion is about 125 grams. So that's roughly what I weigh out, anywhere between 100 and 125. So that's what I have. I add a spoon of the Supreva vanilla flavour. Mix that up, and it helps because you're mixing that in with the yogurt. It helps make it like really nice and thick, and it takes away all the sort of sourness aftertaste, and it's beautifully sweet. It's really nice. And then I add in some fresh fruit. So I think in the video that I took, I had strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries. At the absolute minimum, I will always have strawberries, but it's great to have these. And I much prefer to add them in fresh, although it would be so much easier and cheaper to buy mixed frozen fruit. And you can get like lots of different variations of this like forest fruit made up. I always just find it tastes way too sour. I like it for smoothies, but I don't like it in this instance, so I'll always use fresh fruit. Once I've got the fruit in there, I add in some pumpkin seeds and some crushed pecans, or I just rip up the pecans and put them in there. So it helps add a little bit of crunch, and you're getting some fibre from the seeds and the nuts as well. So I make up my yogurt bowl. I have that maybe 2 or 3 times a week for breakfast. There was one evening that I'd had my lunch really early. This last week I was doing my best to make sure that my lunches were the biggest meal of the day. And there was one day that I had it really early, and in the evening I'd had soup in the evening, but a couple of hours later I thought, I'm just that little bit peckish. There's definitely something that I'm after, and I think I've eaten everything way too early than I'm normally used to. So I was trying to think, what could I have? And oh my gosh, I ended up making, so I toasted some sourdough, put a little bit of, it's a Nutella spread, but it's the Aldi version. I actually think it's so much better than Nutella, and it spreads a lot easier as well. But it's not as sickly tasting. I really like the taste of it, and I don't have it often at all. But so I put some of the Nutella on it. I mashed up a banana, added that on top, and then sprinkled on some cinnamon. I like drenched it in cinnamon. Billy always says I'm nose blind when it comes to cinnamon because I just go absolutely crazy with it. I love cinnamon. And oh my gosh, that was so tasty. So nice. This is really nice. You can swap the Nutella and instead have it with peanut butter. I used to have that for breakfast quite a lot as well. Toasted sourdough or nice seeded wholemeal bread. I like to go for the sourdough because it's easy on my stomach. And it's sourdough is like a fermented food. And fermented foods are really good for your gut. So I always try to opt into having sourdough as much as possible. Yeah, but you could put peanut butter on it with the mashed banana and then some cinnamon on top. If you want to go a little step further, you could have your toasted sourdough with peanut butter and some sliced avocado on top. And people might be thinking, what the fuck is she talking about? But I swear to God, it is so good. My dad told me about the combination, and I actually tried it when I was in Spain. So I was making myself some toast with peanut butter, and rather than going for the banana, I thought, let's give this a try. And I went for the avocado. Oh my gosh. Oh, it was beautiful. Like this whole, I was going to say sweet and savoury, but it's not even that sweet, but it's just, it's a beautiful combination of flavour, especially if your avocado is nice and ripe, it's nice and soft. Yeah, that's definitely something that's worth a try. And then later in the week, I would have a cheese omelette sometimes for either breakfast or my dinner in the evening, mostly for breakfast. It's like a really nice way to get the day started. And I had my usual jacket potato. So I have this, I think this is the one meal that I definitely consistently have on a weekly basis, is that I'll have my jacket potato with a little bit of cheese on top, butter as well. I butter and season the jacket potato with the cheese on top. I have a smaller tin of the tuna mayo. I think these tins, they're like, are they 60 grams? But it's like the little mini tins of tuna with mayonnaise, and then I have a lovely big salad with it with apple cider vinegar dressing on top, and it is just so tasty. I love the textures and the flavours of this entire meal. But I don't think I actually finished it this week. I couldn't I think that's been a couple of weeks now that when I've made it, I've not been able to finish it. So I don't know if it's because my jacket potatoes are too big, or is what I'm having on the side too big. I'd rather just leave a little bit of the jacket potato than compensate for anything else, because I like getting the protein element from the tuna, and it's like a portion of fish for the week. And I love having the salad with it. I really don't want to cut back on that. So when I feel myself getting full, the potato is like the first thing that I'll stop eating. Oh, and then for Billy coming home on Thursday, I wanted to make us like a really nice special dinner. I was really missing him, and I was so looking forward to him coming home, and we had a really nice weekend planned. Plus, because the day before he came home, he called me, which Billy never does. Billy and I always just message each other on WhatsApp mostly. But I got a phone call from him the day before because his gran passed away, and it was just so sad. We knew it was coming. She's been quite poorly for a good couple of weeks now, and she was in hospital for a time as well. I think I mentioned that on one of my previous videos, but we'd known for the last week that the day was coming, and yeah, so it happened the day before he came home. So I wanted to just make him something a little bit special, and so I decided to cook us steak, and I cannot remember the last time I cooked a steak. Steak is Billy's favourite. Billy is a meat man. He will not eat a plate of anything unless it's got meat on it. Like an absolute push, he'll maybe have a plain cheese pizza and maybe he'll have a bowl of porridge, but for him, there has to be meat on his plate, and he loves steak. So I bought us these beautiful, lovely big steaks. But I never seem to have any luck with steak. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've had a steak in the last maybe 3-5 years. And he will get steak quite a lot if we're eating out. And his always look great. I don't know what it is. Whenever I get a steak, there's always a fatty bit. And I cannot chew the fat on a steak. If you give me a piece of belly pork is my favourite. I adore belly pork. Or even gammon, and like with bacon and things like that. I'm okay with all of that, but God, there's just something about steak that I really struggle to chew it and to eat it. And I stopped having them, because every time I would get one, I would be really disappointed. I wouldn't like it for one reason or another. Either it was too chewy, or it was too rare, or because I have my steak kind of medium, more so. When I was younger, I used to have my steak well done, and then I got to medium well done. Now I'm about medium, but if it looks that kind of just a bit too raw in the middle, I can't. I can't. And it's one of those meals that the minute I start doubting how it looks, like I'll just put myself off it and I can't eat it. And that's exactly what happened with this steak. So I'd like made sure that I cooked it all to our preference, because Billy has it medium rare. So I had like a leek and a mushroom cream sauce that went with it, and I roasted up some new potatoes, which I just cut in half and tossed in oil and seasoning, and some parsley. And then I had carrots and courgettes roasted as well. Again, they were just oil, seasoning, and some thyme, just dried herbs. And so when I put the plate together, I was like, God, I am so looking forward to this. This looks really good. And it was shit. I couldn't eat it. Well, I could eat the veg and everything, but I couldn't eat my steak. So Billy ate both of our steaks. I think he must have had over 500 grams worth of beef. So he was very happy, and that was, it was to be a nice meal for him. So I was happy with that result. Friday night, we went to his parents' house, kind of went there to show support and pay respects for his mum and his gran. And we ordered a Chinese. I ordered just a chicken and ham fried rice, which usually comes with the sauce. This time it didn't. And because it was so dry, I couldn't really eat very much of it. So I didn't have an awful lot that night. And the following day, I'd made I make a pasta dish that his daughter loves, and I've like named it after her. So it's my brown mince and onions, and I add in carrots, mushrooms, and courgette, and then just a plain tomato pasta sauce. Mix that up with the pasta with cheese on top. That becomes the pasta bake. She has been crazy about this pasta since she was younger, and me and Billy like it as well. So I cooked that for us. I had mine with some salad. I couldn't finish that either. So I definitely noticed this week that I wasn't finishing a lot of my meals. I was leaving food on my plate, which again, I'm like, I don't understand why there hasn't been that much of a difference with my weight loss this week, but I'll get to what happened on Sunday because I'm trying to think. I want to say that I ate a lot. I don't really think I did, but I wasn't eating my usual types of food on the Sunday anyway. I'm just going to tell you a little bit more of what happened throughout the week. So I was having major IT issues this week, again, with my laptop. And it was more specific with the software that I use for editing these videos. So I've started editing more videos and I've noticed that the laptop is lagging a lot. The software's always wanting to reboot all the time and it's taking a while for things to load, or when I'm reviewing things, the video is jumpy. I was beginning to think maybe it's not the software, maybe it's my laptop, maybe I don't have enough RAM for my laptop to cope with the work that I'm now doing on it. I mean, long story short, I ended up upgrading my laptop again, so there should be another video on my channel with that if anyone wants to watch it, but I upgraded it. When I bought it, it came with 4 gig of RAM. 2 years ago, my dad helped me upgrade it with an extra 8 gig, so I had 12 total. I've now taken that 8 gig out and put in a 16 gig, so I now have 20 gig total. And I've not really had the opportunity to sit and properly test the laptop, but I'm hoping now that it's going to be processing so much quicker, not lagging or jumping or needing reset all the time. So yeah, fingers crossed with that one. That kind of took up most of my week. Between the laptop kicking off, I was back and forth at my mum's all the time as well and sort of checking in on her. Her power, she had no power for just over 12 hours one day. And like she was trying to message me, but messages weren't getting through. Eventually one got through, but it was like 3 hours behind. So I'm on the phone to her like, what's going on? Oh, it was awful. But thankfully her power came back on in the evening. And then on Sunday, so Billy and I had a lovely day planned on Sunday. We were going to the Enchanted Forest, which is based in Pitlochry, this beautiful light show that goes on. And every year the theme changes and it's called the Enchanted Forest event. So we went yesterday and it was nice. I liked it. So I tried to record as much as possible so I could put it into this video, or I might make a separate video about it. I'm not sure yet. We had a really lovely night. We got there at the perfect timing. We had a 7:30 slot. By the time we got there, the sun had just set, so it was nice and dark. This year, I was like, let's just eat when we're there because some of the stuff that they have on looks really good. So when we arrived, we got a double cheeseburger to share. I had a few bites out of that. Billy had the most of it. And it was really nice and tasty, but it wasn't hot. It was warm, but it wasn't hot. Then my biggest thing was that I wanted a pizza. That they kept advertising these stone oven baked pizzas. And I was like, oh my gosh, we need to get one of them. And we did, but it was like anemic. It just wasn't cooked thoroughly enough. And it had way too much tomato base on it, not enough cheese. And the crusts were like this thick. So you kind of had to fold it in half to try and get the full flavour of everything. It was tasty, but it wasn't as good as I'd hoped it would be. And Billy did say, I think you're hyping these up too much. And then as we were getting ready to leave, it was like a coffee stand that were doing sugary donuts. So we were like, I was like, oh, let's get some like wee sugary donuts and I'll get a hot chocolate as well. And the donuts were just too greasy. I couldn't eat them. We had 3 and I was kind of halfway through one and I thought, I don't even know if I can finish this. It's so greasy and not sugary. So it was quite savoury. I was like, this isn't what I had in mind. And Billy was the same. He was eating his and I said, oh, I'm not bothered about the third one. You can have it. And he's like, I don't want it either. So we ended up just binning it. And the hot chocolate wasn't very special either. So, but it kept me going whilst we were waiting for the bus. But yeah, the light show was great. I did my best to try and capture as much as I could, but there were just some elements of it that my phone wouldn't pick up. So I had a lovely weekend at home with Billy. It's been a little bit sad with his gran. But I keep saying, at least, it's not been a shock to the system. We've all known for a while that this day was coming, and I'm just so happy that she's going to be with her husband now. So that's all I can think about is that everyone's like, oh, she's in a better place, she's not suffering anymore. And I'm like, yeah, but she's went like 27 years without seeing her husband. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm happy in that regard. So that's the end of week 11. I can't wait for the day that I start these videos where I've had an amazing weight loss and all of this kind of thing. But just to recap, the weight is coming off. It's just coming off gradual, and that's exactly what I wanted for a number of reasons, which I've mentioned in previous videos, just to do with where I envision my body being in the future, but also for a number of health concerns and everything. I don't want it to be too rapid. So yeah, it's a steady process. It's still a successful one. So if any of you have been to the Enchanted Forest either this year or previous years, let me know. It'd be really good to know how many people are watching this that have been, and it would be nice to know what you thought of it as well. But that's the end of week 11's update. I hope you enjoyed this video. My dad's going to be here in just over an hour, so I'm going to go make a nice big pot of soup for him arriving. And yeah, hopefully I get to capture a lot of moments of our week together. I'll see you all again next week. Bye.